Now we have the DG by Fernando Del Gran. This was fun. I had a bit of a surf in the Goldie when we got back on this, and I found it pretty spicy. I liked it. Classic shorty, which is kind of what we're going for, or what Fernando was going for. This model's called the Kryptonite. This is your board, Sol, not Soph's. Thoughts?
Yeah, just looking at dimensions there, it's reasonably close to what I would ride as a standard shorty. It's maybe a little over in leaderage, which sometimes is a nice thing. And I kind of I only just looked at that then. Like, I mean, I probably did when I first picked it up, but after like riding it and thinking about the leaderage there, it sort of had a fair bit of drive, and was like, I kind of had like a lot of pushback from it, which is a good thing in really like chunky conditions.
Pushy, yeah.
And I think I kind of rode this.
You rode this in that big heavy left, not the first left, not the long runner.
I rode this at the slab and at the heavy left, and I was really nervous taking it out the slab because
it was a slab.
I like something with heaps of rocker in a slab. This has got a fair bit, but like, like the more the better almost, because you want to be able to scoop
in,
you know, like almost like a bodyboard. It's that big, so it just pretty much molds to the wave. In
Fernando's defence, he wasn't shaping this.
Oh no!
All of the boards were shaped for the wave pool. We weren't able to get there because of circumstances outside of our control.
Yeah.
That's when we bolted to Norfolk.
Yeah.
And we were throwing, and this is, I think, the good part about this test. We were throwing boards into conditions they actually weren't necessarily designed for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And they still performed. And this was on a slab, was not even close to shape for.
Well, and that's what I was kind of saying just then, was like it was weird because I was nervous to take it out. I was kind of like, nah, it's not like, but I didn't have a whole heap in there to pick and choose from. So I kind of was like, I'm just going to go off, forget it out, like I'll just work it out on my first wave. And it worked. Yeah, I think maybe my first wave was my best wave, and then I didn't.
Yeah, you knifed it beautifully. Yeah.
And then we surfed it on the left, and it just, like I said, it's had heaps of drive. It was really like quite carvy and just pushing water off the top of the wave, which is kind of, it's a like really chunky turn board, you know. Like,
well, how was that floater you did on that left? That thing you air dropped probably 6 foot. Do you remember that big floater?
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, he's dead.
And I almost feel like the board created that. Like, it kind of kept giving me that, like, push harder. How hard do I have to push to kind of not break this thing, but how hard do I have to push for this thing to like fail on me?
Yeah,
and it kind of just didn't.
It didn't fail. No.
It didn't fail. It just kept like, the harder I was pushing at it, it was just pushing back, which is a cool thing about a surfboard for sure.
So good. Soph?
It's funny you say that because I had one of those moments on this board too.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, it was at the running left.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I was really frustrated by the time I was frustrated with myself in this surf. It had started to get a little bit bumpy. We were getting tired. I was getting hangry. And I made a few mistakes and kept falling. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to see how hard I can push this thing.
Yeah.
And so I remember there was this one end section, and at this wave, the end section was, you land the turn, you jump off before you hit the rocks. And I was like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to...
You should have jumped off a bit sooner on a lot of your waves, by the way.
And I just, I was frustrated, and like you said, you saw that, you thought that you would just push it, and it just kept pushing back. And so I had this one section, and I hit it, and it did the same thing. It just responded so well to all that aggression that I had built up. So that was really good. And mine was actually a round tail as well, which I loved. And again, it was also a little bit higher volume than what I would normally ride, but for me, that was really good to test out because being a shorter person, I'm often on smaller boards. So I've been trying to sort of push and see how high a volume I can go to get as much board under my feet as possible, especially...
Take the Medina model.
Yeah. So that was, it was really good to see that worked for me. And like you said, it was really responsive to as hard as you want to push.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it worked for me, because it had all those extra litres.